Hey everyone, I'm Z Chambers and this is my review of Spider-Man Homecoming. It is a spoiler-filled review, so if you haven't already, you may want to go watch the movie and come back right here. So I wasn't crazy about the film. I felt it could have been a lot better. I did have very high expectations walking in. I'm a big Spider-Man fan. Growing up, Spider-Man was my favorite superhero. So I was hoping that this was going to be not only the best Spider-Man movie yet, but one of the best superhero movies ever. First of all, I felt the movie was very long. It was a lot longer than it needed to be. I felt there were many scenes that were there that either didn't need to be there or could have been a lot better. My second big gripe with the film was that I felt the dialogue could have been a lot better. In the comic books, Spider-Man is always very, very funny. And over here, while I felt that Tom Holland gave a great performance, he didn't get a lot of dialogue that was very funny. He didn't have a lot of lines that made me laugh out loud. I'm trying to remember his dialogue from the film, but I'm drawing a blank, and it's because, I got nothing. The best parts of the movie were the high school segments. So going in, I was expecting a lot of high school scenes, and yet I felt they weren't nearly as many as there should have been. The first 15 minutes in particular, I felt were the best parts of the movie. I was so engaged seeing, Peter Parker just being a regular high school student and then walking out of the high school and switching into his costume and going out and saving the day as Spider-Man. So the high school scenes were definitely the most entertaining. Best part of the film was Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Tom Holland is like Peter Parker just stepped off a comic book page. I thought the action sequences in Spider-Man Homecoming were pretty cool. I thought the Washington Monument rescue in particular was a standout of the movie. I was at the edge of my seat. I was just really engaged in what was going through Spider-Man's head during that scene. Michael Keaton was great as the Vulture, but I felt he didn't get nearly enough screen time to really be memorable. But whatever he did have, I thought he did a great job with. I thought the twist near the end of the film was really cool, with the reveal that Vulture is Liz Allen's dad. I thought the whole drive to the homecoming dance was pretty intense. I was definitely at the edge of my seat on that. While I loved Michael Keaton's Vulture, I felt his character was drastically changed for the film. Vulture in the comics is an inventor who, creates the flight harness for himself, whereas in the film he was like a, blue-collar worker, and the Tinkerer actually ends up creating his harness for him. Another thing I wasn't a fan of was how high-tech Spider-Man's suit was. I felt it was just ripping off Iron Man a bit too much. And, I know Iron Man did give him the suit, but I just wish it wasn't so high-tech. I think it was a big mistake for Spider-Man to have a voice in his head, like a program he can talk to, just like Iron Man. I would have much preferred if they just kind of had him talking to himself in his head. I think one of the charms of Spider-Man is that a lot of the time he's going solo and he's on his own and he's sort of got to figure out things for himself. I thought the movie kind of missed out on having that because of the voice in his head who can kind of help him solve problems. At the end, we get to see the film's interpretation of the Iron Spider suit, which I really wasn't a fan of. I like the comic books version of the Iron Spider suit a lot more, which is just purely red and gold. Whereas the film version had a lot more blue on it, and it kept the spider black, and I just think the comic look is much better. A really nice touch I thought the movie had was at the beginning of the film, when the Marvel logo is coming up, you hear an orchestral version of the classic Spider-Man song, and I felt that that's what this movie needed. This movie just needed a lot more classic Spider-Man. What did you think about the movie? Do you agree about my thoughts about the Iron Spider suit? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and remember to subscribe to see more of my film reviews.